This is not an academic presentation, so I'm not going to go into detail about the author, his history, his works, the original author, the nature of the commentary, the relationship between the author and the commentator. I'm not going to go into all of that. Instead, I'm going to begin by thinking about the question, if Ibn al-Qayyim was alive today, what would he have started with? How would he have understood his reality? Why is this work important for us to explore and understand and discuss in the world that we live in? To answer that question, we have to start with the here and now. We have to understand the world that we live in. Today, while we are sat here and talking, one of the greatest crises to grip this earth is the crisis of what they call mental health. 1 in 6 people are on antidepressant medication. 1 in 6 people. 1 in 6 people, 1 in 6 young girls between the ages of 11 to 16 are practicing some form of self-harm. 1 in 3 elderly people above the age of 60, at least in this country, are facing a level of loneliness that makes them feel sick. You've all heard the terms depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. How on earth did we get to a point where every family, everybody here knows somebody that is struggling mentally, that's feeling sick to their core, and they don't know the way out? This is the here and now. And this is what this discussion, this book, this journey is here to solve. The greatest mistake that was made by the psychologists and the people studying the human mind is that in about the 18th century, they decided there was no soul in the human being. The human being is just blood, flesh, and bones. When you remove the soul from the human being, and you do not acknowledge the fact that Allah created the human being with this part, this central essence, what happens? You're feeling sad. Sadness is just hormones in your head. So if you want to treat your sadness, let me give you some tablets. We'll fix the chemicals. Sadness is chemicals. Anger is chemicals. It's all just a bunch of chemicals and hormones. And so the treatment becomes the same. What happens then? You have a whole race of people, tens and thousands of people, hooked on medication, hooked on therapy, never-ending issues, tortured mentally, and they think that the solution is to continue in this system that is rigged. Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, a scholar from the 8th century Hijri, in this book, Madarij al-Salikin, The Stations of the Seekers, this book is about the journey of the soul. And it is about realizing that you and me, we are a soul having a physical experience. We are not bodies. Our bodies don't belong to us. There will come a day when we will be removed from our bodies because we are the soul. That's who I really am. When my soul is removed from my body, I will be watching as I am taken up into the heavens, and I'll be watching bird's eye view from afar, because we are a soul. Before this world was created, before this universe came into existence, there was alamul arwah, the world of the souls. You did not have blood, you did not have flesh, you did not have eyes, you did not have ears, you did not have clothes, you did not have a job, you did not have a family. You only had one thing: you were a soul. And in this world, the universe of souls, there was nothing physical, only the souls. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked the souls, قَالَ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ, am I not your Lord? قَالُوا بَلَا شَهِدْنَا, they say, yes, absolutely, of course you are our Lord. This is where the journey really began. The journey, our journey, began when we were really born. Not born into this world, we were born as souls in the universe of souls, the realm of souls, before the heavens and the earth and all of this creation came into existence. That's where the journey began. And the journey will end when your soul will be taken out of your body and resurrected in front of Allah. The journey is the journey of a soul. The body is just one pit stop. 60 years on the journey, you have a body. After that, it's gone. The real journey is the journey of the soul. This book, Madarij al-Salikin, Bayna Manazili Iyaka Na'budu wa Iyaka Nasta'in, its central thesis, its introduction, is the idea that Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Fatiha, the surah we recite every day, has the cure for all our problems. That is the argument that Ibn al-Qayyim makes. He says, you've got physical problems, you've got mental issues, you've got family issues, it doesn't matter. Surah Al-Fatiha contains the cure. Believe it or not. If only you understood it well, and if only you were able to implement it in depth. How on earth is 7 verses going to fix the problems of humanity? You might ask and you might wonder. Ibn Qayyim starts by explaining that Surah Al-Fatiha begins with 4 names of Allah. And he says that all the names of Allah can come under these 4. Who can tell me the 4 names of Allah in Surah Al-Fatiha? Rabb, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Malik or Malik. You guys missed the first one. Allah, La ilaha illallah. So Allah, Ar-Rabb, Ar-Rahman, Al-Malik or Al-Malik. These 4 names is a summary of who Allah is. And if you deeply internalize this in your life, these 4 names, it will erase and remove the vast majority of your issues in life. Something interesting that before I continue Surah Al-Fatiha, we have to go on a few tangents here and there. Something interesting that you note from about 1950 onwards, when the soul was removed from the picture, you started to see a lot of self-development books. Books about habits, books about 7 habits, Atomic Habits, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, all of these classic books about how to become a better person. In all of these books, you'll notice something. There's no discussion about the soul. The soul doesn't exist. It's all about waking up early and exercising and smiling at people and having good conversations and putting your alarm close to the toilet. All of this nonsense. Apparently this is going to make you a better person. Forget about the soul. The problem lies. There's a book by a gentleman called Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a Jewish victim who was tortured in the Auschwitz concentration camps by Adolf Hitler. And he was tortured for years and years and years and years. And when he came out of his torture and out of his imprisonment, he wrote this book called Man's Search for Meaning. In the summary of this book, he says, you know what? It wasn't a habit or a therapy or a tablet I took that made me feel better about the 40 years of torture and destruction that I experienced. It was one thing that helped me out of all of this. It was realizing that everything that happened to me, there was a reason and a wisdom and a meaning behind it. Now he's looking at it from the lens of the soul, not the lens of the mind, not the lens of mechanics, not the lens of politics. He's realizing, he's reading it, the reading of a soul. This book, Man's Search for Meaning. And this is why we say, coming back to Surah Al-Fatiha, 4 names of Allah have the solutions to all of our problems. The first name, Allah, makes us realize that the only one we should be turning to and worshipping and devoting our time and attention to and looking to please is not people, it's not career progression, it's not this, it's not that, it's not money. It is the one who created and fashioned us and the one who we'll return to. Allah's name Ar-Rahman gives meaning to every difficulty you ever face in your life. Because you realized the one who put you in the difficulty, the one who gave you cancer, the one who gave you financial issue, the one who made you lose sleep, he loves you more than your mother loves you. It completely changes the meaning of the difficulty that you went through. Ar-Rabb. Ar-Rabb reminds you that just as a farmer plants a seed and pours water on the seed, and the sunlight and the greenhouse nurtures the seed so that it grows to its full potential, Allah, every moment of your life, was looking after you and watching your back. Al-Malik or Al-Malik reminds you that no matter what you possess in this world, it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to Allah. And these 4 names of Allah, if one truly internalizes them, Ibn Qayyim says, this will rid you and remove from you the vast majority of pain you feel in your life. The fact that you still feel the level of pain that you feel means you haven't internalized them yet. Go back to them and revisit them again. He then says that إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ and إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. It is only you we worship and only you we ask for help. That this line summarizes the entire Quran. And this line is the statement that every prophet was sent to bring people towards and call them towards. He says that إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ and إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ removes all spiritual illnesses from your heart, whether it's arrogance, whether it's envy, whether it's anger, whether it's ego. He said everything can be removed by internalizing إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. How is that possible? He says, half of all the spiritual diseases that you can imagine, all the amradul qulub that you can imagine, can be removed by إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, by realizing it is only Allah that I worship, I devote my time to, I devote my attention to. Only He can reward me, only He can give me, only He can take from me. Because the vast majority of people put their trust and their hopes and their anger and their investment in people, in outcomes, in wealth, in things. But إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ means you're fully invested only in Allah and you're expecting everything only from Him and you see nothing but His actions, nothing else. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ removes from you the most dangerous of all diseases of the heart. Who can tell me what is the most dangerous, the most lethal of all the diseases of the heart? More specific than shirk? Ar-riya. It is the desire to be seen by people instead of being seen by Allah. For me to stand up and pray, but to pray because I want fulan to watch me pray. For me to give sadaqah because fulan is watching me. For me to be addicted to the eyes of the people. This is the greatest of all diseases because this takes you. You are one step away from making these other people or these other things, you're making them equal to Allah. And that is the unforgivable sin. And you are on the edge at this point. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ fixes riya. It fixes this idea of needing the eyes of others, the attention, the validation of others, because you are trained and focused and thinking about only one thing. The one I devote myself to is the one who created and fashioned me. Only He can reward me and take from me. Someone else mentioned arrogance. This is the other most dangerous spiritual disease. Ibn Qayyim says there's the two most dangerous diseases is the desire to be seen by people and arrogance and pride. إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ rids you of arrogance and pride because you realize and you internalize, no matter what happens, I'm dependent upon Allah. From the day that my nappies were being changed and I could not even do that myself, to the day I am old and I will need help to walk, I will always remain dependent in between. And that is what إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ means. Oh Allah, I will always need you, no matter who I am, where I am, or what I am. I'm always and constantly in need of you. And Ibn Qayyim says, if you only internalize this, and if you only understood this, you would stop venting to people.